Welcome to Waypoint X Wednesdays. My name is Judd, so let's get started. Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Judd, and this is Adam, and we're excited to bring you episode 3 of Waypoint X Wednesdays. We've had a ton of people already say they are loving it.
Bunch, yeah.
So really kicking it off. We're going to kind of keep this one maybe a little shorter, hopefully. But, you know, there's been a lot of comments saying, you know, you just start having a conversation, and even though we've kind of talked about it, and we've got a few notes here and there to kind of guide us a little bit, but it's just like you just start talking.
It just goes.
Yeah, it just goes. You know, we're kind of like trying to, you know, like if you were in the room talking with us.
Yeah, handle it the same way.
Yeah, but we just keep talking.
Yeah, it just goes. So I've had a lot of feedback. I ask that question all the time, like, what do you like more? And it's mixed. You get, I would say, probably 50-50 are really close. Some of the guys and girls like the longer ones. Some of them like the shorter ones because they don't have the time. But it's just part of it. But I think everybody likes just the general idea of the topics, how it's laid out, what it's being talked about, and how it's being talked about. They like the information. So, yeah, it's been very, very positive so far.
Yeah, so, guys, if y'all have any suggestions, put them in the comments. We've got some suggestions in front of us. We've got one question from YouTube. And so just let you know, we're on YouTube and Spotify. Yep. We upload to both. And so, yeah. But let's start off with our first question.
Yeah, go for it.
So from Haas, it says, do an episode on build progression order and why. I know with my wife's Jeep, you saw a good example of why starting with armor is not the right move.
This is kind of, you know, the joke that everybody says, lockers before light bars.
Yeah.
This is kind of sort of the preamble to that. So I think it's a legitimate question, like, where do you start? And I think it's a really good question for you to answer because, like we talked about in episode 1, the progression of your Jeep, you've literally been just about on every single possible stage from stock to tons and ORIs, right? Yeah. So I do think it's a valid question. I think a lot of people out there, they don't really understand what and why. There we go with the why. As to, okay, I bought a Jeep. And some of it now, because it's so easy for them to get a Jeep that's already had something done to it.
Right.
Where do I go from here?
Yeah, so it's a loaded question because you have so many different models now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start. Armor's not a bad thing.
No, armor's never a bad thing.
Especially if you're going to off-road it. Now, if you're not going to off-road it, then that kind of negates the armor factor. Mm-hmm. But take, for example, the JKs. The biggest problem that you saw out of those was you could possibly hit the oil pan, and you had the transmission, stuff like that, but the evap canister.
Yeah, that was one that everybody was worried about.
Yeah, so like if you have an early model JK, the evap canister will get hit.
Oh, yeah. That's why they sell a skid plate for it specifically.
Yeah, and so that, and I remember trying to find something, you know, for a skid for the oil pan. So that was like two big things that I put on my Jeep first, was evap and basically oil pan and transmission.
All right, so we're going to kind of, we'll answer this question, but let's just start with a stock Jeep.
Okay. All
right. So I just go and buy a JK 7 to 11, and I come to the shop, and the typical question will be asked, what are you going to do with it? I'm going to reply, I'm going to do 50% trails and 50% car shows with it.
Right.
What do I do first?
Then you got to start asking questions.
Yeah, okay.
You got to start digging into it. And so what kind of trails are you doing?
Okay, let's say I'm doing... We'll use local stuff because most of our listeners are going to be here local. So we'll say Stony. I'm going to venture to Windrock a couple, 3 times a year. May go to Hawk Pride.
How hard are the trails?
Let's say I'd like to conquer some badge trails. I'd like to stay 5 to 8.
Okay. I would definitely do some skid plates.
Okay. See,
now when, you know, I don't know what Haas was necessarily talking about in this one as far as armor, because armor can be a broad spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
As far as you could have rear corner armor, and Haas will probably be listening to this, so he'll put it in the
Please comment.
Yeah,
if
please
we didn't
comment.
answer your question,
Yeah,
tell us
we'll
no.
answer it next week.
Yeah.
But you could have the armor on the side, the rear corner armor, the rocker armor, things of that nature. And I would almost put armor up there as like a bumper. Because, that does protect, especially on the Gladiators.
100%.
So,
oh, yeah.
So I consider that armor, even though it's bumpers.
Yeah.
I still consider that
Protection.
because it's protection.
Yeah, 100% agree.
You can see a lot of times, God forbid you get in a wreck.
Yeah.
But you see the Jeeps usually come out that have the big steel bumpers on it.
Way better.
Way better than the other car.
Yeah.
So, it's armor.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So let's go from
let's get away from armor, because that's relatively cheap per se, and it's something that in a weekend you could easily do by yourself.
Agreed. Yeah, and the good thing about armor is
the problem is you don't see it.
Exactly. A lot of manufacturers, they're all, I would say, on the same page, maybe.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Yeah, so you're not going to get a wide spectrum like we talk about bumpers, even in the off-road class. Not saying that there's not good Amazon bumpers out there for whatever, but we tend to lean away from those.
Yeah, I've seen them rip
durability.
off.
Yeah,
like the whole winch come with it.
Yeah, if you've never, if you get an opportunity, look at an Amazon bumper, and then I'm going to use Rusty's because that's what is predominantly on your rigs.
Yeah.
Look at what the thickness of the material that's made out of.
It's a big difference.
It's a big difference. And I am in the steel world a lot. So you're talking gauge plate, 1/8.
And then the support bracing behind it that you don't even see.
Yeah, that ties everything together so it doesn't rip in half.
And the welds.
Yeah, that's a different topic. Yeah. So I would tell you that bumpers are very, very critical. Everybody wants a bumper that looks good. I get that. Durability and, attachment points, because if you are wheeling, there's a really good chance you're going to need them at some point.
Right. And so I really encourage people, if you do get that Jeep, to go out on the trail. I did. With it the way you bought it. Yes, you're not going to be able to hit the hard trails that you probably want to hit eventually.
Yeah.
But go take it and wheel it, learning about the Jeep, and then, that way you can get some armor on it, but just start wheeling it.
Yeah.
Because seat time is everything. Mischief Maker.
Right.
On YouTube. And so seat times, I think Seat Time Syndicate, and she's just a big thing of like being in the seat, wheeling, whether she's racing or she's off-roading, she says, get seat time.
Yeah, just be in there.
Be in there.
It's experience. And you said this in a conversation. I don't exactly remember when we had the conversation. It was early on, but you made the comment about most people get a stock Jeep, and let's say they've never off-roaded, right?
Right.
Well, the first thing they want to do is they want you to put a lift and wheels and tires on it.
Right.
And then they want to go wheel. Well, their experience level is behind the Jeep's capability.
Right.
Right? And you made the comment, you was like, well, as the Jeep grows, you grow with the Jeep. So start out stock, it's stock.
And that's the thing is, buy the things that aren't going to change. Like, you're not going to change out unless you totally destroy it for... I haven't seen very many destroyed, like, skid plates.
Yeah, right.
And I've got one more topic on the whole skid plate thing, but just go buy the oil pan transmission skid, and you've got it comes with a factory transfer case skid, which I ran for years and never had a problem out of.
You ran a gas tank, factory gas tank
so,
skid too,
and
right?
that was what I was getting to, is everybody wants to, I've got to have a gas tank skid. No, you don't. I promise you, you don't, because I beat the snot out of mine. I actually still have it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I've seen
still
it.
back there. It now, don't unbolt it and try to put it back without some ratchet straps, because it's like the holes just don't line up anymore.
Yeah, you got to massage
it has shrunk and expanded.
Distorted.
Yeah, bad.
100%.
So I can honestly tell you, I've seen stock. Everybody's like, "Oh, I need a new stock or new gas tank skid," and I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Like, just keep wheeling it.
Yeah.
It's pretty thick comparatively. It's obviously not as thick as what you're going to buy aftermarket.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't spend the money.
Well, and I think that kind of leads into the whole thing that we're talking about. It's the misconception of misinformation. You hear these words and these terms, and you watch these YouTubers and you watch these channels and these big companies Well, they have the funds and the capability to completely build that Jeep from the ground up.
Absolutely.
And most of the time, even our consumers and ourselves sometimes don't have that ability to do that. We have to kind of grow into that.
Right.
So spend your money wisely. And I know that everybody consciously, I think they would know that, right? Like spend my money wisely, right?
Right. So I want to spend my money first on really those two things. And you're talking not that much money, considerably over
over the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and if you're going into lift kit tires and all this, and that's something that you're not going to have to replace. It's kind of like install it, leave it, check the bolts every once in a while, make sure they're tight, and you're safe. Yeah. And that might be the difference of you driving your Jeep out of the trail or not, because if you bust that
oil pan, you're done.
You're done.
Yeah,
and then
whatever.
The evap isn't as big a deal, but the problem is you might have the glorious light forever.
Oh, yeah, the Christmas tree light.
Yeah, the gas cap thing. So, yeah, it's just a pain. So I would definitely recommend skid plates. Just those two. I know there's a lot of people out there that want to go, differential skid plates or this, that, and the other. I'm not a huge fan on that. Now, I do recommend, especially if you do gears, but even if you're really starting to get into the rocks, go ahead and just get a aftermarket diff cover. They're a lot thicker. You're not gonna pierce them. Now,
they're heavy.
I've never seen I've seen it on like Facebook or whatever, but I've never seen one in real life
in the wild
get pierced via rock.
So I've seen them like the edges peel up.
Right.
And they'll make them leak or whatever,
Yeah.
and you had to beat them back down. But I'm with you. I've never seen one actually opened up like a can opener.
Right.
But now like in Moab, I think out west,
You
they
don't have
tend
to
to grind a little longer on those. So I definitely could see that.
But when you're wheeling out here in the rocks and stuff like that, you got to be more conscious of that.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, it's not a bad move. So going back to Haas's, it's not a bad move. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about build progression. It's really hard to talk about build progression because there are so many different Jeepers out there.
Directions.
And so if you're wanting a cookie cutter answer, there's
not one.
And if there's anybody that tells you that, they're lying.
That's false. Yeah,
that is a false narrative out there that, because Adam's, what he wants to do with his and the direction he wants to go might be completely different than mine, and the next person's going to be completely different.
Yeah. And you could...
Have you ever seen two Jeeps the same?
Exactly right. You just took the words out of my mouth. I was fixing to say, how many times have you seen two identical Jeeps built the exact same way? Now, a company might do it.
Right.
Right? But a shop's not going to typically do it. So I'm going to take my Jeep and my direction that I feel like is best suited for what I'm going to do with it and what I feel comfortable in.
Right.
Now, I will say this. Having been behind the wheel of your Jeep and the way that it's set up, I was really surprised because I've only ever wheeled a two-door. And that's what I feel comfortable in, right? To jump in a four-door of that size, I've never been on 40s before. I've never been on tons before. You look at that, and it's a little intimidating. And you think, damn, I don't really know what I'm going to do here. It's extremely versatile, and it doesn't feel as big behind the steering wheel as you would think it would. But that goes back into the progression of stuff. Like you feel like it's your daily driver,
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because you've been behind the wheel so long. So every Jeep is different based on the person, their capability, what they're comfortable in, and what they're shooting for.
Right, because somebody that's just going to go down the road, never get off the beaten path, which I hope you don't do. I hope you do.
Use the Jeep.
I hope you go off-road because there's a lot to explore and some things that no one else gets to see in this world that's super cool.
Well, I'm going to veer off just a little bit, too. Let's talk about, you mentioned something about using the Jeep in stock form. When you do a ride through Waypoint, you offer a classification that is stock-friendly ride.
Right.
And you've had some people tell you on the trail, oh, my God, like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to pull this off. Or I can't believe I did this.
You said this was stock-friendly. Well, stock-friendly means that Jeep can do it stock. That does not mean that it's a road.
Yeah, it's not a forestry road or a fire break road.
Like, we're going to go up some ledges. We're going to crawl some stuff. We're going to go down some ledges and stuff like that. Like, I am showing you the capabilities of your rig in its current state, and a lot of people don't understand that a stock rig can do a lot.
Oh, yeah. Especially a Rubicon.
Yeah.
Like, you would be really impressed. 2-door,
Right.
4-door with the right spotter, right? You have to have somebody
Absolutely.
that knows what they're doing and how to tell you. But with the right spotter, a Rubicon, and I mean, like he said, most Jeeps will surprise you in stock form just because of how they're built. But
Right.
you will be really impressed. And if you can figure that out, then building the Jeep becomes way easier.
Right, because I think I'm not saying to take every step, like, go to the
Oh,
2.5,
yeah, no,
3.5, 4.5,
no, absolutely not.
33, 35, 37,
Yeah,
40.
yeah.
You can skip, unlike I did, and save you a lot of headache and time and money.
Yeah.
But it's just whatever avenue you're going to go down. But the whole stock friendly thing is, I get some grief on that one.
I feel like it's a little misleading too, because people get a stock Jeep and they see other stock vehicles and they assume that because, I mean, you're not going to take a Toyota RAV4 that's stock and do some of the stuff that a stock Jeep can do. It's just not.
Why not?
Well, I mean, you can.
I mean, you can.
I don't know how well it's going to survive. No disrespect to the Toyota guys. But I feel like the Jeep's going to be more capable in stock
Right.
form, right? And I think because of that, inherently they think, well, I can't do that because that vehicle couldn't do it
Right.
either. So that I think is another thing. And this kind of leads us into our next point.
Yeah, and I know that didn't really fully answer it, but I think as we talk through these next items, because we've got lift kits and steering and tire, drive shaft, and then even higher advanced, I would say, steering options. Just to kind of talk about it, hit on it real quick. I think you're going to kind of see a trend and a direction possibly, because you're going to have to kind of answer these questions for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can answer those questions for yourself,
Great.
And text us, email us.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. Like, we're more than happy to kind of guide you in a direction. Now, I'm not going to say, hey, you have to do this lift kit and this tire and this. I'm going to give you some options, and then you choose what is best for you.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, even when we were building my Jeep. It was still, at the end of the day, it was my call about kind of how we did that. But, I mean, just because I work at a shop and just because we build Jeeps doesn't mean that I don't have questions. And I bounce them off of him all the time. Like, some of them are even rhetorical because he's heard them before. But the question and answer part, really, you're the only one that can answer that for you. Is your Jeep. I mean,
and everybody's story or Jeep story is different.
Well, I mean, it goes back to everything. Like, if you're a single guy with unlimited money versus a married guy with 2 small children,
Right.
there's very little chance y'all two are going to build the same Jeep.
Right.
So, I mean, just in that world, let alone the capabilities and what you're putting under the Jeep for it to do.
So here's a whole nother, we could have a whole nother podcast on this. It's definitely another avenue. But, you talk about armor, right? And then you talk about going off-road. And so if I'm going to tell someone, hey, this is what you need to do to your Jeep first, off-road, maybe a radio, maybe some type of item where if you don't have cell phone service, you can still get out, whether it's an iPhone that has, satellite texting of some sort, or
radio.
Starlink, or some type of navigation thing that's able to put out there. I mean, there's other stuff in your Jeep that you're going to have to pay for that you might not think about besides all these upgrades that we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
So you need to start thinking about, hey, I've got a first aid kit, fire extinguisher.
Oh, that's a big one.
Things like that might.
Recovery gear.
Yeah.
I mean, all that kind of stuff goes into that Jeep.
Yeah, I can tell you, hey, this lift kit's great, but it's not going to do any good when it burns down because you didn't have a fire extinguisher.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not trying to,
We'll get into the 4XEs later.
I learned a lot about those. We'll just not talk about that.
Yeah, right.
So the first question we had, second question, was short arm, mid arm, or long arm, and how to choose a lift kit, and why would we choose it?
So one of the questions that I got, we kind of talked about this, and the question that was posed to me in the group was, when do I go to those different things, and why? What are the advantages to them? So I'm gonna go ahead and knock a misconception out. Yeah, you're gonna get the urban legend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So short arm and mid arm are the same thing.
Correct.
So that is a marketing thing that they're going to tell you. Okay, so yes, are there some control arms out there that still go to the stock configuration?
Yes.
That might be that are longer.
Correct.
Correct. So if you want to call it a short arm, a factory arm, sure, why not? If that doesn't burst your bubble.
Yeah.
And then you want to call a mid arm, whatever,
adjustable.
Adjustable,
Yeah.
fine. That I'll let you have that. But saying that a short arm and mid arm
are not,
they're basically the same thing because it's going back to that factory location. So that's in my world, in my head, that makes sense. It's the same thing because you're not gaining anything. The control arms are only doing a couple of things. One, it's putting the axle back where it was factory. So you're getting the wheelbase back. You're able to set caster and all of that appropriately. You're also able to get the rear pinion angle where you need it to.
So geometry.
The geometry is correct, and that's going to make it ride better on and off road.
100%.
So those adjustable arms are there. So yes, you could say that the short arm is stock, whatever.
Yeah.
But this whole mid arm thing, they're not any longer because you can't go any longer.
So what he's talking about is
you're not going same factory locations.
Yeah, exactly.
You might be able to explain it better.
No, I think you've got it. Points of contact. If you think about it, simply where the bolt goes, points of contact. So the short arm or the mid arm, they bolt up in the same place.
Now I'm about to make a controversial statement here.
Uh-oh.
If you are going to buy control arms or a lift kit, if they are not adjustable, you're wasting your money.
I am going to be on that train with you.
I know there's some kits out there,
so
I'm just stating my experience.
Yeah. So you remember how you talked about going to the 2 and the 3 and the 4?
They were all adjustable.
So I suffered when I did mine, and I bought longer control arms, and they were longer because I verified them with a tape measure.
Yeah.
They were fixed. And I immediately...
You can adjust.
When I went to an adjustable, I thought, boy, I messed that one up the first time.
Yeah.
So 100% agree with you. Let's touch on... After I got a point I want you to touch on because I heard you just tell a customer this the other day, but control arms need to be adjustable. If you are going anything above stock, please get adjustables.
So they're going to tell you, there's, like I said, if you don't, I know everything is a marketing.
Of course.
Go watch TV and your commercial. They're going to throw everything at your face. There's no difference in the Jeep world. And if you're a manufacturer, hate on me, I don't care.
That's part of it.
I'm just going to tell the truth.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, do better.
So let me ask you this question, because this was another question. I'm going to buy control arms for my Jeep. Should I just buy adjustable uppers, or should I buy just adjustable lowers? Or should I get the package deal and get them both?
Get them both.
That's me too.
It's going to, like I said, it's going to put that axle back where it needs to be. And what I mean by factory location is the taller you go, and you stay on a factory arm, the taller you go, the narrower the wheelbase. Because as you go taller, the wheels start tucking up underneath the vehicle.
That's right. Because of how they're connected, it only has one way to droop, which is closer. Yep.
And so when you go that adjustable, I'm able to lengthen those control arms and to put that back into basically factory or longer.
Yep, you stretch
in some cases. And that way the springs and shocks are all able to work accordingly, and you're able to get those driveline angles and steering angles and all that.
Yeah, all the geometry goes back. If you think about the way the Jeep is set up, it's a triangle from the side view. And the more you steepen that triangle, and it's just like riding a bicycle. Turn the bicycle handlebars around backwards and see how good you do with the tire up under you versus out in front of you. So when he pushes the axle back out, he's not moving it like unconditionally crazy.
Right.
But he's getting as close as he can while also incorporating all the other angles, which is a big thing in his world. That's what he that's the game that he always fights, is how close can I get it? What can I get out of it to make it do the most across the board?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to find that happy medium.
Always. No matter what Jeep it is.
Right.
Yeah. So
and every one of them's different.
I think we talked about this a little bit in the other podcast, but now since we're talking about control arms, let's talk about joints. How many different kinds, styles, or variables of joints do you have in control arms?
There's a lot.
Let's hit the majors. So Heims.
So you got Heims, which is more buggy, off-road purpose built.
Specific, yep.
You can get away with them for a time on the road, but they're going to wear out faster. They just have tighter like tolerances and things of that nature.
And they're metal on metal.
Yeah.
So
they can have like a polyurethane or something bushing inside of it.
Yeah.
Versus like a bronze or something race in there. Just kind of depends on the brand. So there are those two options. Tell people if you're never going to go off road, don't put a Heim in it. They're just going to wear out.
Yeah.
And I will say they're easier to maintain.
Agreed.
If you kind of know what you got
supposed to do.
Yeah. But as far as longevity, no. Then you have a Johnny joint, which is a pressed in like rubber style joint. So you have basically inside of the joint you have a washer. Then you have a polyurethane bushing. Then you have the ball, which is actually the articulation. Then you have another polyurethane bushing, and then you have another washer, and then all of it gets set in and pressed in, and you put a snap ring in it. And so there's no adjustability to that. Once that joint is shot, it's over. Yep. There is no, like, you're just replacing the internals. And then you have a Rusty Styles joint or flex joint. I'm going down from
Heims down.
Yeah. So you have a flex joint, and their flex joint is very similar to a Johnny joint. The only thing with a Rusty's is that you can adjust it. And so same concept as I just spoke about, but instead of the snap ring, you are actually able to this outside washer per se, the collar, and so you're able to. It's got basically
dowel pegs.
And you're able to tighten that up, and as it wears, you can tighten it up.
Longevity, livelihood of the joint. You can. So if
you're putting grease in those versus a Heim, you're spraying grease on the ball and working it. These have grease joints, and those are your two biggest ones. There's some other ones out there that TMR makes that are called like Lifetime Heims, and they've got some different joints out there. They're all under the kind of same umbrella of like a Heim flex joint hybrid. But really you have Heim, Johnny, and then like a flex joint. And then it goes to a rubber joint, which is very similar to a stock joint. But I'm more familiar with the Rusty's rubber joints, but they do have, the way they're built, they do have a certain amount of degree of flexion in it versus a stock one. It's more.
And are they greasable as well?
No, not the stock ones. Just a rubber joint. So it's just a rubber joint with a peg through it.
So there was an old man that I ran into at a gas station, and he noticed I was in a Jeep, and we just got to talking Jeep stuff anyway. And he said that he had bought his granddaughter a JK, and he said, "Man, I think her Jeep's messed up." And I said, "Why? What do you think? Well, what's wrong with it?" He said, "There's nowhere to grease anything." And I said, "What?" He said, "There's no grease ports." I said, "JKs don't have them. After the TJ, they don't have grease. There's no grease points on them. Like, they don't have it." So if you didn't know that, he didn't either, obviously. But yeah, so maintaining the joint, maintaining anything, honestly, really.
So if you're going to go down the road 99% of the time, or if you're going to go just dirt roads, you're really not going to get into the crawling aspect of it. I highly recommend a rubber joint, which is similar to factory, but you're still going to get more flex out of it than factory because they're just made a little bit different.
But the lifespan of the joint,
that is going to be the greatest.
There we go.
Those are replaceable, so we can press them out / cut them out.
Yeah, burn them out.
Yeah. And the when you replace it, it's not super expensive to do.
Versus a Johnny.
It can be a little bit more, just depending on what joint you do have. But if you're going to be on the road, I highly recommend the rubber joint. It's going to feel better going down the road, longevity wise, and they're not going to wear out.
So now, why is this important? The question is asked, why do we need to know all this? So we talked about people wanting to buy their own parts.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You want to look at your own parts. I do too. Want to see what's out there. So, and we're going to default to Rusty's because we use their parts a lot in the shop. So go to Rusty's website and look at the kit. And when I say look at the kit, don't just look at what's laying on the table. Zoom in on the picture and look at the joint and why it's there and what what you're
Right.
going to use it for. That's a big deal. And I think
Right.
that's some of the stuff that gets kind of skated over.
Right. So that's my two cents per se on the joints. I have my preference. I've ran the flex joint for many years with Rusty because I like the adjustability of being able to tighten it as you go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You don't have to press in the joint. They're very like DIY friendly.
Yeah. You can maintain them
Versus
very
a Johnny
simply.
joint, you have to press in.
It's a bear.
Yeah, it can be a pain sometimes. But it's just really what preference you want. Now I'm running all Heim joints.
Yeah.
So, but it's a completely different animal. So,
You're comparing a NASCAR to a sedan.
yeah. So it's like granted, a buggy tube chassis could outdo me any day of the week, no questions asked. But for a full body rig, my
Well,
Jeep,
it's a purpose build.
Yeah, my Jeep does very well. I
Oh,
feel like.
100%. Absolutely. All right. So now we'll get on to the other part of it, right? So we've covered short arm / mid arm.
So let's mid arm though. Before we get into the long arm thing, there's a lot of different companies out there. Do your research, figure out what joint they have, because like another one is Rock Crawler. They have
Crawler.
I would say it's a whole different type of joint, but I would say it's very similar to like a Johnny joint, but it's different.
Is there any
Well, I would actually say it's more like a Rusty's flex joint.
flex joint? Yeah,
because
that's what I was gonna say.
you can adjust it.
Yep. Yeah.
It's
So
just
is there
different.
anybody out there, and this I'm putting you on the spot here.
Okay.
Is there anybody out there? Is there a joint out there that you've seen A, fail more than others, or B, that you wouldn't recommend? Or are you okay with generally across the board as long as it's in the right application?
The right application. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have
Okay.
to go there. Also, I see a lot of people grease it way too much.
Really?
So
Okay.
I
Good point.
was talking to Rusty the other day, months ago, and just talking about the joints, and because I was running Heims, and it's gotten so bad where I know where they're at. He just says go get what you
Go
need,
get what you need. Yeah.
like, and then just take them up to the front, and I pay for them or whatever. So it's just kind of one of those things because he has. So the reason I get Heims there, because I mean I have distributors that I could get them from.
Yeah.
Is the bung that he uses. I'm a huge fan of, and that's where I get them. And so it's just easy because we're going up there to get lift kits and parts for customers. So
Skid plates normally.
it's right there. I don't have to pay shipping.
Yeah.
And it's just there. So yeah, we were talking about grease, and he's like, yeah, a lot of times they just shoot too much grease. I mean, it's just oozing out of it. It's everywhere. It just needs a thin layer because especially if you use like a Milwaukee grease gun or something, or
it pumps it in
that
there.
just pumps.
Electric, yeah.
So what you're doing is just expanding that between that cavity that's in there, and you're loosening up basically the joint, and you're wearing it out prematurely.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need as much as you think it does.
Yeah, my dad's a mechanic, and he always talked to me about toothpaste, right? Like just because you have a whole tube of toothpaste,
Right.
the toothpaste head is only that small. You don't need to cover the whole entire thing to
Right.
brush your teeth, right? It just fill the cavity, just enough to be in there.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of people over grease them, and then they fail early, and then they want to whine about it.
Yeah, then they blame the joint.
Yeah, and it's not the joint's fault. I mean, if they're the only joints that I would like to run, they're just very expensive, are those new TMR.
Oh man, TMR, if you're watching,
Yeah.
sponsor.
That's so those
amazing
I would
thing.
like to just look at it.
Yeah,
Try
I like
it
to
out.
run them.
Yeah, and just
sample
see,
them. Yeah,
because I'm interested.
yeah, for sure.
Just because I haven't seen them like up close.
Yeah, I've never had one in my hand.
They
either.
look good because
Yeah,
they're
they
the
do.
black plating.
Yes,
They look really good.
Yeah, that anodized color.
Yeah.
that looks really good.
So, all that being said, there's a ton of different kits out there, and stay away. I understand it's money, like I get it, and you're just wanting to lift it for the lowest amount of money you can,
Budget. Yeah.
but it's going to bite you in the long run. It usually does, I would have to say, especially on the springs because they'll start to sag over time. Whether it's a cheaper kit, and then you won't get control arms, or you won't get
Since we've opened Pandora's box,
you won't get. Yeah, let me just go into this before
Here
we
we
go
go.
to long arm.
Yeah.
You won't get track bars. You won't get sway bar disconnects. You won't get bump stops. Now, I will say there are companies such as Rusty's.
Yep.
I'll say that don't include bump stops in their kit. I asked him, and he was he was
Very
like,
honest.
he was very honest with me. He was like, everybody's Jeep's different. He's like, everybody's running a different fender, whether it's stock or mine or whoever's, Motobit, whatever. They're running different fenders, they're running different tires, this, that, and the other. And so you need to bump your Jeep accordingly and not just off of what the lift is. And there's companies that sell you bump stops according versus we make our own bump stops in-house now.
Which I really like the fronts, by the way.
Yeah. And so it's just it's easier and it's cheaper for the customer. But then you have like Rock Crawler, which I do like their bump stops.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've never used them, but my buddy Joe in Texas likes them. But the Metal Cloak bump stops because they sell you from like 2-inch up to a 4-inch bump.
Yeah, progressive.
Yeah, and so you are able to tune the Jeep to what your Jeep is,
what it does, and how it's set up,
and how it flexes. And so basically, bumping it so it doesn't take the fender out and it doesn't rub. And
well, weight has a big thing to do with that,
right? And so that's why he said I sell bump stops. But I just don't put them in the kit because
somebody might, like you may have to have way more than me. I'm a two-door,
Yeah.
right? So then you may actually throw it away.
All right. So guys, we had a quick break. So
Yeah.
quick.
Had to take care of something.
Yeah. And so we're back. So if there's a little lapse in.
Yeah. We're trying to explain away what we did here.
Yeah, trying to figure out where we were. But so if you hear us skip over what we
Yeah.
just were talking about, but you
So-
were opening up the.
Yeah, we were opening up Pandora's box. We were talking about systems that would fail you, and I think this kind of leads into cheap control arms, the cheap adjustable arms associated with other cheap. And I say cheap as in it's not intended to be that way. It's just not engineered to the
Standard.
magnitude of
A good standard.
Yeah, the other systems that are out there.
Right.
There are a few systems that are out there on the market that our shop we don't invest in, we don't stand behind, and we
Right.
typically don't install.
And the reason behind that is I've seen them fail.
Yeah.
They're shortcutting to save $1, and when you shortcut, sometimes save $1. The end consumer, which you think you're getting a great deal, you're getting the lift that you want, the height that you want, but you're getting shortchanged and you don't even know it, and you're going to spend more money in the long run than if you just saved a little bit or saved that extra 6 months to a year and got the right
Quality one.
Right. That's
So-
a buildable.
I think this kind of plays into what you just said too, though. When you go to buy a lift kit,
Right.
what is a lift kit? Because on one end of the spectrum, with the more, we'll call them budget friendly because we don't want to throw shade, but the more budget friendly lift kit is springs and shocks. That's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on the other end, you get springs, shocks, bump stops, track bars, control arms,
Yeah, the whole nine.
right?
Sway bar and links, everything.
So I think some of that, now maybe there's somewhere in the middle that you can land if you're not going from stock to off-roading. But I think that do your due diligence there.
Right.
Like springs and shocks only get you so far. When my two-door came in, it was a cobbled mess of stuff that I had associated
And I'll say
together.
something on shocks is you'll see a lot of companies, and every company is this way for the most part. They'll have different shock packages,
Yeah.
and they'll be at different price points. Well, those lower price points is just a run-of-the-mill shock that they have put a sticker on.
Yep.
I mean, it just is what it is.
Steel body monotube shock.
Yep.
Yeah.
White body shock
Yeah.
is what they used to call it, and it's just a plain old Jane shock, and there is a huge difference between that shock and their top tier shock.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
A lot of difference.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've addressed that animal, let's go into
going back to the whole lift kit though. To me, if it's my Jeep and I'm spending my hard-earned money and I don't want to have to buy twice, I'm buying a lift kit that includes all of those things that we listed. A lift kit that just does springs and shocks or does maybe one or two control arms just to do the front is, to me, you're shortchanging yourself. You're going to cause possibly more problems down the road, so on and so forth.
So since we're still here, let's talk about some of the geometry, and we won't really dive into what the technical terms are and or what you do underneath the Jeep. But let's say we just put springs and shocks on a Jeep to lift it. Let's say we're going from a stock Jeep to 37s, and we put a 4-inch kit on
You might get lucky.
Some skinny fenders.
I wouldn't even say you're not even going to make it 4 inches, but go ahead.
Right. So let's rip the fenders off. We'll do a fender delete.
Mm-hmm.
We throw our 37s on, and we'll take off down the road with these springs and shocks. Okay. Now, some of the geometry,
Yeah.
caster, camber, I know some people out
This
there
one
probably
calls
know.
death wobble.
Right?
Most likely.
Okay.
And it's going to be darty.
So that's what I was going to get into. Some of you have heard the terms of the things he's going to say, but I don't think some people completely understand the verbiage. I've heard the words, but I don't really associate that to what it is. So let's
So
pinion angle, caster, camber.
when you don't have enough caster in one, it's causing, in layman's terms, basically more vibration, more pressure on those critical components, especially like when you hit bumps and stuff. So that is wearing out things prematurely. If you're in the JL world, the factory ball joints are horrible. Like the minute you lift it, it's horrible. We found out on mine pretty fast. Like I knew it was going to happen. Yeah. I told you, hey, we're going to lift mine,
and we're doing ball joints,
and ball joints is going to happen. And then a customer came in, and I told them, I said, hey, like she was like, just go ahead and do the ball joints. Like,
yeah,
I don't even want to go down that road of having to bring it back to you.
Yeah.
And when we pulled it off, the knuckles off,
man.
and the ball joints were trash.
I would tell you that hers were worse than yours.
Yeah.
Like especially the lowers. So are they 6 degrees on the JLs like they are on the JKs?
It's somewhere. I think it's in the 5s. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm not too familiar with the stock specs. I just know that the stock specs barely get you even close to where, like, you're on the teetering point of not having enough at stock, but that's where they put it. I mean, it works at stock, right?
Yep.
So having all of that, and then the track bars and stuff is what the track bar does is it centers the vehicle or centers the vehicle on the axles. And so that's why if you go to a Jeep and you have this much tire sticking out on one side and this much tire sticking out on the other side, that's centered.
A problem. Yep,
it's not centered. And then I've seen kits where it's just like, oh, well, we'll just do the front track bar or this, that, and the other. And then you're basically crab walking down the road. So you got one axle on this side and one axle on this side, and you can see the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Because the vehicle's going down the road straight, but the Jeep's pointing that way.
Yeah. Yeah, the relationship to everything that's attached to the frame and the relationship that everything is attached to the axle and where that axle is located.
Yep.
Again, we're going back to geometry.
We could go into the weeds of like, and we're going to go into steering, but you could go into the weeds of raised track bar bracket, drag link flip, which flips the steering on top of the knuckle. There's a whole list of rabbit hole things. The biggest thing that I think most people don't understand is you can go, and I could be shooting myself in the foot a little bit here. I think you are safe no matter what you do. If you do, control arms, you do what we said, you're not going to have many problems with like 35s and the 2.5 kit. It's really when you go above that 2.5 kit is when you got to start thinking about other things, such as drive lines. And what I mean by drive lines is drive shafts, and that's a question we'll get to in a minute. But drive shafts, so it's kind of answering that thing. So you go over 2.5, yes, you can get away with it. The drive shaft will still work, but especially on the JKs, JLs, the front drive shaft is going to, at full droop, going to start hitting that cross member. It's that skid plate cross member for like the transmission.
Transfer case.
Yeah, transfer case and all that. So it's going to hit that. And so when you go to an aftermarket skid plate, like the transmission and oil pan skid plate, it removes that bar, and then you're able to, that
droop
full droop
further.
bar. Right. So you have driveline problems. Then, ball joint problems, depending on your make and model, stuff like that. So drive shafts, ball joints, and then you've got to start thinking, especially older vehicles, hubs, because JK hubs, JL hubs or whatever, I would say the JLs are a little bit stronger. They might be the exact same thing. I haven't seen as many failures.
Yeah.
But the JK hubs, I went through tons and tons of them.
Yep.
Because you'll see that front tire
lean.
Yeah, you'll have some camber, as we call it, camber in the tire, and that everybody's like, oh, that's a ball joint. Well, it can be. I'm not saying it can't be, but
it could also be.
I will say that most of the time, on a JK.
Yep.
Granted, the JLs, I'm still like we're still learning, but I would say on a JK, the amount of times that it's the hub is probably more so than the ball joints, unless it's got factory ball joints on it and it's got tons of miles and you're running 37s or something like that. That's the only time I've seen it where it's like a ball joint.
So we'll talk about caster a little bit, and some of you may know this, but caster and the relationship to the pinion and the upper ball joint is crucial because you only have so much of separation between the two. They're fixed, right? So
6 degrees.
As you lift this, exactly right. As you lift this and you begin to rotate the pinion,
That's something you can find. That's something you can find online. So I didn't mind telling that.
Exactly. So as you rotate up with the pinion, because
it's standing that ball joint on top of itself,
and there goes the bicycle I was talking about.
Yeah.
So
and then you're basically trying to balance it.
Exactly. So
and it wears out faster.
Again, this all plays into the whole, hey, get the axle back where it goes, get the longer control arms.
Right.
Now we're talking
your preventative
about
maintenance by doing it. You're saving money in the long run by doing it.
Well, if you've never experienced air wobble, you're saving yourself a nightmare anyway.
Night.
So when we get to a certain height, or we get to a certain point on a built Jeep where we want to articulate, then we get into the long arm conversation.
Right. And this is, I wheeled on what you call a mid-arm, short, whatever you want to call it, for years and years and years. The first long arm kit I had was Rusty's. We wheeled all over the country with that, and it did great. Did absolutely
For
great.
what it was.
For what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
We just kind of went above and beyond that kit, and there's nothing wrong with that kit. I just knew I wanted to do certain trails. And
okay, so let's answer that question. Why do you change?
And so why do you change? So long arm, we'll answer that question first. Just why long arm? So with that long arm, because of the longer arm, right?
Yep.
Your point of contact to the frame is now further inwards, like further towards the middle.
Away from the axle.
Right, exactly. And so as that axle goes up, that arm has less movement of travel, like less degrees of travel.
That's right.
And so you're able to get a better, more comfortable ride, not only off-road, but on-road, because it's allowing the shock and the spring to actually work.
Do its job.
Versus with the mid-arm, short-arm, whatever you want to call it, it's basically when you hit a bump or something, it's jamming because it's having to move so far versus the long arm just kind of, it's flowy.
Well, you said that on a short arm.
It's hard to describe without like
visuals,
yeah.
Right? But on a short arm, it's more impactful. Right? As a long arm, it allows it to float.
Yeah, and
more natural.
It's just less movement.
Yeah. Yeah. So
because you're able to use the suspension.
When do I go to a long arm?
It's really personal preference. If you're really getting into, you need more flex, and I'll say this: I've seen some mid arm kits that flex just as good as some long arm kits, depending on what kit it is. Because I've got a buddy that's on tons and 40s and still has a mid arm kit, and he still flexes very well. So
on a TJ?
No, it's a 4-door.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my buddy in Florida, and he's still on a short arm or mid arm. I believe it's a rock crawler kit, and it does really well. Now I'll tell you this: if you compare it to a long arm, yes, a long arm's got a beat,
of course.
But for how well it does, it's surprising.
Comparable to what
surprising.
It is. Yeah.
I choose it for comfortability, allowing the suspension to work like it should, especially when you go above, I would say 4.5. You're really pushing the limits because you've got to think that spring is now so tall, and that control arm, you've adjusted it as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And the taller you go, it's just the more hard of an impact.
Yeah, it's more perpendicular to the ground.
Yeah.
Just like if you think about anything else. If you look at the side of a Jeep, ideally, in a perfect world, you want those arms as close to parallel to the ground that you're riding on as possible.
Right. And I'm trying to, it's not that I don't want to come off as, hey, we're not trying to explain it or say technical terms. or not know how to explain it because we don't know what we're talking about. That's not it. It's trying to put it into an everyday person's language.
Yeah, very simple.
Yes,
keep it simple.
because if not, then it's going to be like all the other product that's out there. It goes over everybody's head, and then you have misinformation after misinformation after. Confuses everybody.
If you're speaking to a group of people that already know what you're talking about, it's very easy. But
right.
Relative to people who are new to Jeeps,
right,
don't know a whole lot, just getting into it, you try to guide them as much as possible, as simple as possible. So, in short, a long arm performs better off-road flexibility-wise, gives you more flex, more travel. And on-road, it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's a lot more because the axe, you're not going to feel the harshness.
Oh, my God, he's not even lying.
Like, in his rear, I would say would be considered a mid-arm. Like, the rear of your Jeep versus, like, a factory would be short arm because we went to a longer setup in the rear because we welded on brackets on the frame that made it longer. So I'd almost consider that it's not
crazy long.
It's not crazy long. It's like it's an in between mid and long.
Yeah.
It made a huge difference.
Oh man, it's a world of
and
difference.
Like in the front, we went long arm.
Oh, that's 100% long.
Because we went to he says custom 3-link. It is pretty custom, the way we did it. But it's night and day difference of how well that suspension just kind of floats versus just hard hitting.
It was so impactful, man. It was so uncomfortable to ride in.
Yeah, and now it just floats.
Oh man, it's daylight and dark.
It's like riding on a cloud.
It is. It's a really comfortable Jeep to drive now.
And he's on a 2-door, and the 2-doors are even worse about it.
Oh yeah, we're shorter wheelbase.
Yeah, shorter wheelbase,
95 inches.
Right.
Yeah, it's rough.
So there's a couple different styles of long arms, and I'll touch base on that really quickly. Is you've got the bolt-on style, which is Rusty's. Nothing wrong with that at all. I would consider that like your weekend guy, or really want to go out there and play. But it's bolt-on. A guy can easily do that in his garage. If you just have like a right angle grinder and some stuff, there's like no welding. So I mean, it's fairly
Rusty's is really good. I think Metal Cloak's got one out.
But they all have one problem because they don't move the gas tank. They hit the lower rear control arm bracket that is off the frame, and that's what's going to catch you on like your ledges and stuff like that. Rock crawling.
My cousin's Jeep. That's I think when we were at the Jeep competition, he was talking to you about that. He wound up getting a moto-built rear mount gas tank in.
Yeah.
And that was in fact, I think last night when we were talking to him, he was talking about the control arms hitting. So that is definitely something.
And so then you go to a custom setup where I've welded in like new cross members. We're triangulating, and that's a whole different world. Because what you have on your stock style Jeep, or even if you put a lift kit on it, normal lift kit is going to be a traditional 4-link. And then you can go to a triangulated 4-link.
Yep. So
there's different.
The rear of your wheeler and your other is also
double triangulated. Like there's so many.
Yeah.
We could just talk about lift kits in all one, and I don't want to get too in the weeds because especially for like the Jeep world, that's I would say your weekend warrior, or even a guy like me that wants to push the limits a little bit.
Yeah, dedicated off-roader.
You need to do your research before you go spend your money. And I think that, if you have questions, please hit us up.
Ask all the questions.
Ask. So we'll stop with the lift kits. Like we said, just ask us a question. We don't mind, talking to you. So next we got steering upgrades.
Yep.
This is a big one for me.
When? That was always the question that I get asked every single time. When do I upgrade my steering? I have a personal answer, and I'll give you my 2 cents.
All right, go ahead.
I would tell you anything above stock, you need to start thinking about upgrading your steering.
Yeah. In the JLs, ball joints, because I consider that steering. Because it's part of the steering system.
Yeah.
So ball joints, JLs, no matter what. You can get a lot of life out of the stock drag link and
track bar?
Stock tie rod. So you can get a lot of life out of those. Let's just say you've already put a lift kit on, right? We'll just go there. Steering wise, you need to go to a beefier steering system. There's a lot of different companies out there. They all adjust sometimes differently.
That's true.
Whether you have like a Rusty's, which uses a jam nut, or you have like Yeti
I have a
Steer
Yeti on
Smarts
mine.
that is like a clamp style.
style.
So it's more of like a factory style ish. And so those adjust differently. And so you just kind of have to decide what you want and
fits you.
how beefy you want to go.
Yeah.
So it will the stock stuff last? Yes. Is it very prone to failure? Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would tell you after we hit 37s, mine lasted 2 rides.
Yeah.
And it was done.
Right. And so that's the biggest thing is when you go above stock, I would really start considering it heavily.
So you have the big. Well, let's talk about the most common. So you obviously have stock, 1 ton steering, 2.5 ton steering.
Yeah.
When and what? These are all questions that we get asked on a regular basis. And
I
again, it's
like the
hard
big
to vague.
stuff.
See, that's me.
I rather just get the big stuff like the Rusties. I guess they call it the 2.5.
It's a 2. They have a 2.5, and they have a 1 ton.
So
too.
I rather just go with the big stuff. It's not. I don't think there's a huge difference in price between the two. I'd have to go look at that. I could be wrong
a little bit, but comparatively to what the longevity and the lifespan.
The other thing that's out there, and I'll hit on this really quickly, is aluminum versus steel.
Oh yeah.
Yes, aluminum does retain, and so what I mean by retain it will it flexes back. So you hit a rock and you push up on it, it will retain itself. I'm just not willing to spend extra money, nor am I, well, especially now, because all of mine would be custom.
100%.
Because mine is all steel tubing with Heim ends on either end because of the 1 tons, and so there's no way I'm paying for that. And the steel, because I make it in house, is 10 times cheaper than aluminum. Aluminum is very expensive. The other problem with aluminum is that if you don't tighten those jam nuts, you are going to strip the threads out.
Well,
you can do it with steel too.
I have,
but more so aluminum.
I have a hybrid.
Aluminum rips.
Yeah, so I have a hybrid system. I have a steel tie rod and an aluminum drag link, and I went that way. Kind of what you're talking about. The other thing about aluminum is it expands and contracts over time in heat, and in our environment, we get really cold and we get really hot. And that aluminum, if you've ever had aluminum wheels on a vehicle, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can tighten and torque down the lug nuts, and aluminum, you'll have to go back and redo it because as that aluminum opens and closes, expands and contracts, it loosens that lug nut up. Does the same thing on the jam nuts. Yeah,
so you just got to be careful. I like steel more, especially, and this is a whole other topic, is like when you we'll talk about it later, is hydro assist, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Because the mounting on the bar on the aluminum, I have found likes to slide on the aluminum versus the steel. It will grab, it bites. Also, you can't weld. Well, you can weld to aluminum, but not very. Like not the dip. Like if you have a metal clamp and then you have an aluminum thing. So what I do on my clamps is I will tack weld a little spot on either side of the clamp
to keep it from moving.
Just to keep it from moving. I've had it move once off-roading, and so I was just like, tack, that won't happen again. Yep. So it's just something for it to bite.
Yeah, I've seen they've got some new off-road addicts out of Oklahoma. They've got a new clamp that's got knurls on the inside for the aluminum.
And you can take a grinder and...
Exactly. Yep. Cross hatchet, stuff like that. So, again, is there a specific time when you need to upgrade your steering? I would say as soon as your factory wears out, upgrade it.
Yeah, and then as soon as you really start lifting it, and if it's just a dirt road, that's fine, but you start playing the rocks, you're going to find out quick.
Yeah, I mean, anything that you're doing, and you have to also, there's so many factors and variables.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll talk about what he mentioned earlier. We kind of giving you a vague answer, and it kind of probably comes across that way. That's not the intention. But there's so many variables. Are you talking about a 2-door or 4-door? Are you talking about a full body rig? Are you talking about somebody who has a rooftop tent and, an extra 1,000 pounds worth of gear in their rig, or somebody that's a lot, minimalist person that has nothing and half doors?
Right.
It all goes into, could they get away with 1 ton? Well, probably. Could they get do they need 2.5 ton? They're running 35s, 37s. Well, how wide's the tire? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's so many things in that. Should you upgrade your steering? Simple answer, yes.
Yeah. So, lift kit, do the whole thing. And
get it all.
Get the control arms, the track bars, sway bar in disconnects,
Mhm.
especially the front, and end links in the rear. Get it all.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and get it
One-stop
all.
shop.
Yeah, one stop. And then steering upgrades, just after stop,
it.
just start thinking about it. Go ahead and start planning for it.
So I like Barnes, and I actually have CavFab on mine, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm running a Yeti Steer Smart track bar that I really, really, really like their product a lot. So, I mean, you don't have to buy the same exact, like your lift kit, I would say get the same.
Yes.
Like if you're going to get a Rusty's kit, get everything Rusty's. Don't
Right.
mix and match
But
that.
steering can be different.
And it's all.
Yeah, because like Rusty's has a jam nut versus the Steer Smarts has a clamp. I ran Steer Smarts for years, early on when I was on the 44s, and so it was easability of adjustability. It was adjustability, but now I don't have a choice but to run that
Yeah,
jam
right.
nut. So
Yeah,
it's just it is what it is. But yeah,
Yeah. So
if you have any questions, just holler.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
we could go down the rabbit hole. But next we have tires. I will say for our location, Alabama, mud tire.
every time.
If you're going off road, besides a dirt road, mud tire all the time. They do very well on road, depending on the brand.
there you go.
Not all brands are created equal, and
No.
not all tires, the patterns are created equal.
That's right.
Now, if you're not going to go off road very much, yes, you can get away with an all terrain. I have no problem with that. But if you're going to go off road, that all terrain just not going to. We have so much mud year round, and you're like, oh well, it's dry. Well, yeah, go under the canopy of the trees, and you're going to find mud. Go to Windrock. I have never seen a trail not have water on it, and it's year round.
That's right.
So I would go with a mud tire. You can ask Scott. He ran 40s, and he still had a ton of life on his tires.
Rotation
and,
and air
he was
pressure.
yeah. Air pressure is something that we see a big problem with. They want to run what's on the side of the tire or what they ran stock, and it's too high.
Or what the Jeep will tell them. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? A lot of those
yes.
Jeeps will have that in there, 35, or it beeps at you.
Yeah,
So
so then that's a whole different issue of getting some type of tuner so you can take that off, or
Yep.
a scan tool that you can take that off. So that's
and I'll
a
be
whole
honest
other
with
thing.
you, I was a huge Patagonia fan. I
I
love
ran
the
'em.
style of tire. The MT-02 was fantastic.
So I ran Patagonia 40s.
Really?
For a hot minute. Great tire. It did well.
It's just not down here.
Yeah. So
everybody said that.
Yeah. So if you live in Moab, yeah, that tire is amazing. You can get away with an all terrain out in Moab and stuff like that because it's so grippy.
Yeah.
But out here, it just doesn't
Different animal.
it just doesn't make sense.
I ran a Cooper SST Pro, I believe is what it is. Great tire. Did okay off road, cleaned really well, but the life of the tire was non-existent.
So I'll tell you my favorite tire.
I can guess.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Mickey Thompson Baja Bosses. I will go with that tire, whether it's a sticky or normal compound, DOT compound. I currently have the DOT. I don't have a sticky yet. That'll be the next set.
Teaser.
Yeah. And I'll probably stay with a 40 just because I don't want to have to package a 42 like trim, and it's more of a headache.
Yep.
And especially for the direction that we might be going, I need all the room I can get.
Oh
Yeah. So we want another spoiler alert. Man, I've been doing so much research on that. But
I'm a Toyo guy. I ran the RTs for a long time. I have the MTs on mine. The RTT Pro that just came out is really popular right now that I like as far as the Toyo line. I get a lot of life out of those, so I like
the
those.
new tire I'm a big fan of. I'm not going to run it on mine, but just I'm a fan for if a customer says, hey, I want an all-terrain, is that new? It's a Baja Boss all-terrain. So basically it has all the features of a Baja Boss except it's just not as big spacing.
The tread spacing.
And it's a really good-looking tire.
Is that what Miss Karen got on hers? Mm-hmm. Is that what that was a great looking tire.
I know. I know.
And
for what it is, it's great.
So we had a customer, she actually rides with us sometimes, and she got a Willys. Did she have a Willys?
Yeah.
So she lifted hers 37s, did a lot of work to her Jeep. Great looking Jeep when she got done with it. And I walked in the shop, and Judd had gotten tires mounted, and I glanced, and I thought, good Lord, she's going to have a mud tire on this thing? She doesn't off-road very much.
Yeah.
She's kind of new to it. But then I looked at it, and it said AT, and I thought, what?
Yeah.
Like it's got great sidewall
Oh
presence.
yeah, it looks like a Baja Boss, except the tread is just a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. She puts a lot of miles on her Jeep. She travels a lot.
See how the wearability is.
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
that.
Durability and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Right. And this is no secret because I'll tell everybody, if you're running anything over stock, really, especially in the, I would say, aftermarket tire world, because the tires that they put on at factory are not the same tires. Like, even if you bought the same brand and the name and everything, it is it's a different tire. But that's a whole, you can hate on me on whatever you want to, but
it's facts.
Yeah, it's facts.
Yeah, they get the better tire at the factory.
It's contracted. There's a contract and all that mess.
Yeah, they get the
Closed
A's and
doors.
everybody else gets the B's and C's.
Yeah. So, 28 pounds of pressure.
I'm a 28, 29, 100% every time. And I tell everybody that.
Yeah, and sometimes there are tires out there that you could run even lower, and it all goes back of, I know because the concrete floor in the shop and just them coming up the driveway of the shop and everything like that, it puts like that concrete white chalk on it, and when it rolls into the shop, you can actually see, especially on a newer tire,
the footprint.
That you can see the footprint and seeing, okay, well, we might need to drop a pound or two because it's not getting the full width of that tire.
Oh yeah, you would be amazed at what 5 pounds of pressure in a DOT tire will do, especially in a Jeep.
And steering and how it steers and how it bump steer and how it darts and this, that, and the other. It's amazing what tire pressure will do.
Yep. In fact, we rode a customer's Jeep and stopped on the side of the interstate to drop tire pressure because we could tell.
And it made it night and day difference.
Completely different. Yeah. Tires are a big thing.
Yeah. So get a good tire. Like I said, I'm a Mickey Thompson fan. I will say, just because it was very early on in my Jeeping world, they don't even make the tire anymore. But the KM2 tread pattern.
Oh, man. Yes. Yeah.
So the Nitto KM2 was just, or no, BF Goodrich. Sorry.
BFG KM2.
Yeah, BFG. Sorry. I was looking at a Nitto in a picture.
Oh yeah.
And it just kind of like
it all ran together.
Yeah, it all ran together. But that KM2 BF Goodrich was just, that tread pattern just looked so good.
And BFGs are known for their lifeline.
Yeah.
Like they live forever.
Yeah. And it was a really, really good tire. But they stopped making it. And then I know I'm not a big fan of the KM3. So
I watch a couple YouTubers that are out west, Utah.
Yeah,
Nevada,
I think it's good out there.
And they love it out there, but they have said that they themselves do not like the 3 as well as they like the 2.
Yeah, they need to bring the 2 back.
Yeah, bring the 2 back, BFG.
Yeah, bring it back. But no, I'm a big Mickey Thompson fan, and I think that's where I'll kind of stay for now. I'll let you run whatever tire you want to, we'll order whatever. But if you're going to ask me which tire that I would rather get, it's going to be that.
I'm going to lean towards, I think my next set is going to be a Mickey set, just because I've seen,
and they're not bad pricing.
Well, that's kind of where I was going. The price point and the performance that I've seen. So what is you run the Baja Boss? What's the other one? The Pros, the Baja Pros, XS Pro maybe.
Oh, with the big, I can't think of the name. Yeah, the big
I think
knobbies.
it's the Pro
Those
XS or something. So that's what my cousin's got on his Jeep, and I've watched both sets of tires. And at the Jeep competition, if you think about it, both the Jeeps that were at the top were run on Mickey Thompson's. Yeah. So I think if I'm gonna trade a Toyo, that'll probably be where I go to.
And how much support? I mean, we don't get anything from them. So let's just go ahead and preface that. But how much they support the off-road world?
Oh yeah, they gear their tire brand
to Jeeping and off-roading, and
more so than anything else.
Yeah, oh yeah. So that's huge when you're. It's not necessarily you're supporting the little guy, but you're supporting
consumers.
Yes,
you're thinking about the guys who are buying your tire.
Yeah,
and what they're into. And
you're building the 40, the 42, the
exactly. Like you're thinking about
43.
Oh yeah. That's a monster of a tire. So the XS Pro now, and I could be wrong here. If I am, just let me know in the comments.
All the letterings get confusing.
Yeah, they do. But I think they now have a 53-inch Pro XS. Yeah, we saw it at Jeep Invasion, and it is insanely massive.
You're not putting that on a full rig.
That's
a buggy all day.
Yes, it's a custom built, no fender, wide body.
Unless you dovetail it and everything else.
Yeah, no, it's a monster of a tire. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, you got to fit through all the trees around here.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah,
you can't take a monster truck through Stony.
No,
it's just not going to work.
No.
So tires. Then we could talk about tires
for days.
Same thing. All these subjects are whole days. Drive shafts, when to upgrade. So really, when you go after over the 2.5, because like the 2.5 just is like a safe place, I guess you would call it.
Yeah,
as
it's comfortable.
You can get away with a lot in 2.5 world. You go above that to the 3.5, 4.5, this, that, and the other. Your drive shafts are going to start to struggle. The rear, you can get surprisingly a tall lift with.
Because it's so long.
Because it's so long.
Mm-hmm.
The front is, it will work
temporarily.
Yeah, but that Rezepa or that CV joint,
mm-hmm.
the Rezepa is the way you replace it, but the CV joint that's there, whatever you want to call it, it's going to fail.
It is 100%
and
fail.
It's going to start making noise, and it's going to rip the boot, and it's going to start slinging grease all underneath your Jeep.
And then you're going to hear a bunch of racket.
Yeah.
And then
that grease is hard to get off, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know what they use in that, but that stuff
it doesn't come off.
No, it does not. You pour gas on it and it won't dissolve.
Yeah, it doesn't come off.
And the moment you start hearing noise...
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, right. Next Waypoint shirt.
Yeah.
The moment you hear noise, it's too late.
Yeah, you got to replace... You either replace the joint, which is basically a Band-Aid.
Yeah, on a shotgun wound. Like, it's going to fail again. I promise you. Like, just... bite the bullet and get some good shafts.
And I've seen some people where they buy just the front and don't buy the rear. It's better to do it both. And that goes back to the whole point of getting adjustable control arms. Because if you buy a rear drive shaft, that Rezepa or that CV joint, basically, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be off just the way it's designed. But when you go to a U joint,
completely different.
It's completely different. There is a certain amount of degrees that it can be out, and it is very small. Very small.
So the joint,
I will put them perfect. Like I am very
anal about that. Yeah. So the whole idea, the premise behind the joint.
Now that's the rear. The front is different, guys. So
100% different.
Do not put the pinion angle straight on the front. You will not be happy with the way it drives.
That's a question that we've been asked before and experimented with.
Yeah.
So the joint itself,
I didn't even experiment because it was going to drive it straight into the ground.
Yeah, it would. Jackhammer it.
Yeah.
The joint from factory is designed, the whole reason behind that is to prevent vibration. That's all it's made for. The moment that you do that in a U-joint style drive shaft, it will shake you to death.
It's going to vibrate, then it's going to tear up your gears, and it's just going to get more and more expensive as it goes down.
And if you're unlucky, it'll get your transfer case after that.
Yeah. So, and then basically get a good reputable company. That's a hard word to say.
Reputable.
Yeah. Get a good company.
Tom Woods, Adams.
Adams. I use Adams, but I've been with Adams since basically the beginning, very early on, when we did our big Colorado, Moab, Arizona, the Rubicon trip.
Yep.
We actually toured their facility, which was really cool. And
they're a good group of guys to talk to, too.
Exactly.
Man.
And so they've just always been really good to us, as far as Waypoint X and just supporting us. I mean, they followed us very early on, like just on Instagram and stuff, and just kind of just supporting us as a small channel.
Well, I think that's how they got started too.
Yeah.
I think they were a small group before they got big.
I can call them up and
get what you need.
Yeah, get what you need, and it's going to be there. And they do a really good job of, hey, you need to send your drive shafts back to basically get refurb.
So I have a story about Adams too.
Brand new ones back.
My cousin he's got an 18 JK, and he went to put an Atlas in it, right? And he was having some questions about the adaptability and what he needed on the
different
Atlas,
sizes.
right? The people at Atlas suggested that he call Adams to get his information, to which he did. And he called Adams and said, hey, I've got this, this, and this, and I'm putting this in it. What do I need? And Adams Drive Shaft told him what yokes, flanges, and all that stuff to run on his Atlas transfer case.
Yeah, it's just easy.
Because they are that dedicated to research. They bought the very first Mammoth, and they bought the very first Atlas to bench test all their product on.
Right.
They're just that dedicated to the
And
thing.
when I went to Tons, I said, hey, I'm running this axle. I'm still got the stock transfer case. And what they're going to want you to do, yes, you can go to websites and buy drive shafts.
Of course.
But measure them because they can be different.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, I give them measurements, and then if you do come into the shop or want drive shafts, I will measure them. And so you're supposed to measure them a certain way, and you give them those numbers, and then they build that drive shaft
For your application.
for your application. It's not just a off-the-shelf one. It is for your Jeep.
Yeah, you can go to them and say, hey, I've got a 4-inch lift or a 2-inch lift or a 6-inch lift on a 4-door 2017,
Yeah.
and they have those.
Yeah.
Those are generic, and that's just their product. But if you're building something that is anywhere remotely different than what an off-the-shelf product, that's when you get into measuring, and that's when they want to.
And I still measure because we're direct with them. So like I'm a dealer for them. So I call them up and I say, hey, we need this, and that I give them the measurements versus no matter what
Yep.
every time.
Yep.
Versus like if you go to like Northridge or something, they have a standard like
off-the-shelf part.
off the shelf part, and it kind of accommodates a certain range of lift.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of manufacturers do, and I think that's the reason that there's so much confusion in all of these topics we've talked about. There's so much gray area because across the board, manufacturers are trying to cover as much ground as humanly possible for a broad spectrum.
Right.
And we see it as per Jeep, which is a very, very small percentage. Right, we're very specific in how we want somebody to build their Jeep.
Right.
So that's why I think it's hard for us to give a, like you said, cookie cutter answer to every single thing that we're looking at.
Right, because it all changes. Whether what brand of lift you go with, what brand of steering you go with. I mean,
what axles you have.
It just it all changes.
Yeah.
And that even goes to what we talked about last week at gearing. And this kind of goes into that, like when do you re-gear and this, that, and the other. It depends on what tire, what lift. I mean, what you're doing with it.
Yep.
Are you dailying it? Are you just going off road? I mean, there's a lot that plays into all this. And so
if Gladiator you're pulling a trailer, you know what I mean? Like all that factors in.
If there is anybody out there that is looking online at forums or manufacturer websites and it says that this, like
Facebook, I mean,
Facebook, be very careful and do your research. Because if there's some cookie cutter answer or some type of marketing scheme, be very careful.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Because it will get you into trouble.
100%. So the last topic is going to be, it kind of goes in with the steering. So we're going to talk about hydro assist.
A little icing on the cake.
Yeah,
right here
hydro assist and full hydro.
Yeah, so you have hydro assist, which is you still have a stock style steering box. So there's a couple companies out there that do it. I have seen people port their own box.
Yeah,
but you better know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, and where.
Yeah. And so you've got Redhead, which does a factory style box, like identical to factory basically.
Yeah.
And they port it, and then you can run basically a ram. And so hydraulic. So what it does is you put the pump on your Jeep. It goes into the box, and then from the box, you have two lines that go down to an actual hydraulic ram. That hydraulic ram attaches to the axle tube and then to your tie rod. And so when you turn left or right, that ram actually pushes left or right, and it takes away almost 80% of the pressure off of your pitman arm. But what it does in the rocks and off-roading is, if you've ever been there, you're going to know that tire is going to get stuck, and you're not going to be able to spin it because your pump and the factory box does not have enough pressure to turn it. But what that ram does is it pushes it over.
So this is not to be confused with a steering stabilizer.
Yes, they are completely different.
They look the same from a distance because of the location of where they're mounted and how they're mounted. It looks like a ram. The distinct way that you can tell is if it has two lines attached to it. Yeah. So actually on my Jeep, it's in the shop, where it's actually outside the shop. At some point, I have to put hydro assist on. When you run lockers up front, 37s,
it's not going to turn.
It won't turn. I get pinned and I can't turn it.
Yeah, and then you're pinned. You don't turn. There's a lot of language involved in that usually.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't do it. There are some ways to kind of get around that. You can put it in neutral and kind of spin up the motor a little bit and get more pressure. So before I went hydraulic assist, I was doing a trail I should have not been doing at Windrock. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, let's just say that. We kind of said, hey, it's not that bad.
Let's try that.
I want to say I'd have to go back and look. It was one of the dumb ones, like a double black diamond on
yeah,
37.
no.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I don't think I was definitely not hydro assist. No, because about halfway up it, at full, like you started turning left or right, it was shooting fluid out the bottom of the steering box.
Oh, too much pressure.
Yeah, it was. No, the seal had blown.
Oh,
because I was
out
in
of
the
the
rock.
sector shaft?
Yes.
Oh, my
like, yeah,
goodness.
fluid was like, like it looked like somebody had cut your arm in an artery or something, just blowing fluid everywhere.
Oh, that's not good.
No, so like every so often I have to get out and
Pour some in it.
Pour some in it, and just keep hope.
Try to get off the trail.
Yeah. Oh, I knew the pump was shot. Like it was whining. It was not happy.
So you run a PSC on yours,
Yeah.
right?
So I run PSC, and what PSC has, they've got a new box out now that I've done a little research, but I don't have enough research on it to like tell you enough about it or lead you one way or the other. But I'll tell you what I have. And if you want us to do more research on that box, I'll be more than happy to do that. I just don't want to tell you anything false.
Yeah, right.
But I went with the big bore steering kit, and what that is the best way I can put it in layman's terms is like putting a Dodge 2500 steering box in your Jeep.
And pump.
So you get a high pressure pump. You get, and you can buy this like a la carte. I recommend not, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So you get a pump, you get a cooler, you get a bigger reservoir, so more fluid, and then you get the big bore steering gear. And then on top of that, you can get the big bore kit without it ported, but I think you're wasting your money.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah. So we won't even go into that. So port it, and then you can buy that as a kit without the RAM. I encourage that. Like if you need a new steering box or something like that, you don't want to go RAM just yet. You want to save a little bit of money on the front end and then do RAM later. That's a good stopping point. Like I'll consider that because that's what I did.
Well, maybe somebody's on 35s and they know they're going to get a 40.
Yeah,
later.
you can plug the two ports on the box and no harm, no foul. But you have the bigger pump, you have the bigger steering gear, and I will say with that setup, it is night and day difference than stock already.
Yep.
Because the bigger pump is putting out more pressure.
Volume. Yeah.
You have more volume because of now you have a bigger reservoir.
Yeah.
And you're changing out your lines. Like and you have that cooler. So
Yeah,
the cooler is cooling the fluid.
There you go.
Because as the fluid heats up, it's not as the performance goes down.
Yeah, it starts to foam. The viscosity goes down,
yeah.
so it becomes more like water, and it's really, really hard to get any performance out of it. So yeah, agreed.
Trying to put it in layman's terms. Not go all like super
technical.
Technical for you. And that's one thing that we are trying to do on this podcast is try to. I don't say dumb it down because that's not the right word. Simplify it so that way somebody that's new into Jeep can kind of understand.
Yeah.
So you have hydro assist, so you basically, and then if you want to attach the RAM, you can run the lines and then run the RAM.
So I'm running a redneck RAM. That's what I'll be on.
Yeah, so it's that is a stock box with typical. You can run a stock pump if you wanted to.
I think I got the bigger pump, but a stock box.
So I'll give my 2 cents about it because I mean I've seen both. I've seen the redneck RAM and I've seen the redhead box ported. I've seen all that where people have used the stock pump, stock reservoir, stock all that stuff. But this is just my 2 cents. Is I think if you go to that setup with a stock style box and you port it and put a RAM on it, I think you're shortchanging yourself a little bit. Yes, it's cheaper. I get that, and that's why people kind of lean towards it. But and you can still go with that brand. I'm not saying that you have to go PSC, but having that bigger pump and reservoir is a big deal. The cooler
that's what I was going to say.
And
So I don't have a cooler,
and so when you do all that, your performance is going to be better. It's going to be more efficient, longevity. Because I've seen people with the just the factory pump RAM and stuff. They don't like. I'm turning 40s on 1-tons very easily, and they're sometimes struggling on 37s and a stock 44s.
Well, think about what you just said about blowing the seal out, right?
Right.
I mean, with a smaller pump on a stock box,
yeah,
right. You're still putting added pressure.
Yeah,
on
and that number could be off, but I want to say I was listening to one of PSC's, like YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and it was somewhere around that 80% mark. That when you add a ram, that's what it takes off of the pitman arm, like
sector shaft.
Sector shaft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that 100%.
That's a crazy percentage.
Yep. So then from there, if you decide you want to go crazy,
so hydro assist you can still run on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It does make the steering not necessarily flighty, but it's a different feel.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It's just one of those things that you have to get used to.
Yeah. It's like going from manual steering to going to power steering.
Yeah. I will say that hydro assist will cover up a lot of bad steering issues because that ram makes it go like in a certain spot, and so it will cover up like death wobble and stuff like that.
For a while.
For a while until it gets to the point where it can't. But it does a very good job of band-aiding.
Yeah, masking
I'm not saying do that to Band-Aid.
No.
Fix the problem first,
Yeah.
which that could be a ton of things. It might not be ball joints. It could be loose joints. It could be track bar. There's a few things we check for.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go full hydro.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's more of your buggy.
Custom application.
Yeah, not really on-road. There are people who do it, but it's more off-road. You're technically not supposed to do it on the road, but we're not technically supposed to do a lot of things. So
yeah, beadlocks.
Yeah.
So the reason that it's not advisable on the road is because there's no mechanical connection between your steering wheel and your tires. It's hydraulic.
Yeah, so basically it comes off of your steering column, so your steering wheel, steering column, into your engine bay, and it goes into what they call an orbital valve. That is bringing the fluid off the pump, off the motor, into that orbital valve. And so as you turn the steering wheel, that valve that sits in that orbital valve, basically, when you turn the wheel, it's putting fluid to different locations or the lines that go to the full hydro. And so at full hydro, basically you get rid of your drag link and your tie rod. And so that full hydro, so you have the ram in the middle, and then you have your two basically tie rods. So you could say two pieces, but they're connected to the ram and then to your knuckles. Mm-hmm. And so you have two lines that go into that ram, and basically that is what's steering left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no, like you said, mechanical there. It is all hydro, and it can. What they say on the road, I've never driven one on the road, but can be very flighty.
Yeah. So the other thing too,
because it's instant. Like there is no hesitation.
So if you've ever been around hydraulics equipment or anything like that, the other thing too is as the pump runs, it causes minor cavitation, air bubbles in the system. So you can be driving down the road in a full hydro rig, and the steering wheel will rotate, and your tires are not turning. It's the air bubbles causing the rotation of the shaft. So people tend to freak out, and they grab the wheel, and then, now we're about to wreck. The other thing is if you lose hydraulic pressure, because that's really what drives the wheels is the pressure. If you lose pressure,
you're not steering it.
You're not going anywhere at all.
You can't steer it.
Yeah, you're done. Like, there is no Band-Aid. There is no fixing this, weld something on here to get you home.
Mm-mm.
You're effectively done. So
it's a pain at that point.
Yeah, and that's why it's kind of exclusive to off-road. It's usually lower speeds, unless you're doing King of the Hammers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But usually lower speeds so that you don't have such an impactful situation if it decides
like
to
all
leave the
your
shaft.
race buggies are running full hydro because it is instant and you can push off of stuff. So basically you're using your wheel and tire to push off of stuff to navigate, and it's instant. There is no how a ram works is you push a lever or button and it goes that direction.
Yep.
It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't think about it. It just goes.
Yeah, and usually when you see full hydro, I mean, you're talking about major, big 2.5, 3 inch diameter rams, and they can take these 40s, be laid in a ditch, and they can turn the wheels and literally push the rig off of something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And if they have rear steer, they can do it in the back in the same direction and then literally push themselves off an obstacle.
Yeah, if it's a rear steer rig, and what I mean by rear steer is they basically have a front axle that they have moved the chunk to the center, and you have knuckles and ball joints and everything like that just on the rear, and you can turn. Mm-hmm. But there's no way to do it besides full hydro.
Yeah, 100%. Because there's no way to attach it to anything.
No way to attach it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So full hydro is really cool. I would love to to off road a vehicle that had full hydro just to see how easy it is.
The thing is, you know how you have stops.
Yeah, you don't have that.
You don't have that no more.
No, it just goes.
Yeah, basically it just bottoms out the ram one way and then it bottoms out the ram the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
So the steering wheel just keeps turning.
And I guess I'm kind of old school because I'm an older guy, but man, it almost scares me because I'm the guy that's going to nick a hydraulic line and seep hydraulic fluid until I get halfway through the trail.
Yeah,
and then I'm stuck.
So you know how the rear steer works, right?
Yeah,
it's just a button on a switch, left and right, and that's it.
Yeah. So they have the auto center.
Yeah, they have auto center,
and then you have the ones that stay in position of whichever direction,
which is pretty cool because the auto center, like what we mean by that is especially on the busted knuckle ones. So you have it's basically a toggle switch.
That's right.
So you have left, right, and when you let off of that, if you have this setup, it's a particular setup you have to have. It will auto center the rear, which is super cool. So you're going around a turn and you want to come off of it, and you just let go, and it will.
And the tires go straight.
Yep.
So as they turn left to right this way in this configuration, you can turn them opposite the front wheels with the same front wheels. You can like literally spin it around on itself. But if you're going this way with the rear of the vehicle, when you let off the button,
it just centers back up,
and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And then they have a secondary button on their
that
handle
will hold it,
so that when you tap it and say you wanted to crab walk it, around an obstacle, you don't have to sit there and hold the button. You can just hit it, get it where you want it, and then you're on the steering wheel, and you can literally crab walk it and turn it back, and then you can auto center it or whatever. It's super cool. Rear steer buggy's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I will say it's pretty cool. Yeah. But that I would not advise that.
Oh man, yeah, you can't do anything with those like on the road. You have to have lockouts and all that kind of crap to even try to do that stuff. So
I would highly
don't do that.
Yeah. Hydro assist, yes, absolutely. Especially if you're going to go play in the rocks and you're doing this, I would say more than once a month.
Oh yeah.
If you're wheeling 2+ times a month, and what I mean by wheeling, you're wheeling. You're not no dirt, like you're not just going down a dirt road. Nothing against the dirt. You're hitting obstacles. You're hitting trails. Mm-hmm. A lot of them.
Oh yeah.
I would even go to venture out to some of the badge of honors. Like it's gonna be very beneficial.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
because not all badge of honors are
created equal.
Yeah, they are definitely not.
And I would say full hydro, if you're considering anything 40-inch tall and up, I would tell you full hydro might be a consideration.
I would even go 37s. Like 37s is like the tipping point. Like 40s, no questions asked, in my opinion.
If it's a dedicated off-road rig.
Yeah. But if you're on 37s and it's dedicated off-road, you're gonna need it. But 40s. Yeah, if it's off-road, Now, if you're just driving on the street, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. But
now, if you've never had a Jeep with lockers in the front, then it's hard to understand.
Yeah.
But you can put lockers on and like crawl up on somebody else's tire, and you almost, like mine, I don't have hydro assist yet. I can almost not get the tire to turn back straight at some point because it pins it so hard.
So I can sit here, concrete, you name the material, asphalt, it doesn't matter. I can take one finger on the steering wheel, go all the way driver, all the way passenger.
Yep. No matter what. Mm-mm. Lockers on and off.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the difference. And you don't think that that's important until
it's huge off-road.
When you get to a point to where your spotter says driver,
and you can't do it.
I can't go driver. Like I can't back up. I can't go driver. What do I got to do? Well, now I got a winch.
Yep. Big deal.
Yeah, big deal.
Well, guys, I hope we answered some questions. We try to stick to the hour and 15. I think we're more like an hour and 30. But hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Yep. We went into some details about some other things and probably went into the weeds for some others.
Not bad.
Not bad. But guys, if you have any questions about what we talked about, I know it's not a cookie cutter answer, and we don't want to give you that answer.
No, absolutely not.
No. So we want to have a conversation with you. Please email us, contact us, whether it's commenting here or on Spotify or reaching out on Facebook or Instagram. Please let us know. Also, if you have questions, put them in the comment section below so we can answer them next week. We're really excited. We've got some busy weeks coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a lot in the shop right now. We've got an awesome Jeep build, pretty big build that we're doing right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We've got things on our rigs we're kind of tinkering with here and there. Mm-hmm. And then I would say our wheeling season somewhat starts.
It's getting close.
Yeah.
Real close.
We're a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, it's getting real close.
So we've got some trips planned, and we're excited. But
yeah, absolutely.
Guys, we appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you out on the trail.